In progress.
So again, a great night to one and all. Welcome to the September 2023 Licensure Examination for Teachers Review for Math Majors. And tonight, we will be discussing item 61 to 80 of our diagnostic test. So I hope that we are all ready to listen. I hope that we are all set. And in these 20 items, again, as always, let us set the standard at 50%. So we are hoping that we will get at least 10 in order to pass. So I believe we are all ready. Let us begin with item number 61. But the direction states, write the letter of the correct answer before the number. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, we have to write E. 61. Layers of squares are constructed as shown. How many unit squares are there in 10 layers? So if you could take a look, if there's only one layer, this is a figure with 2 layers, 3 layers, 4 layers. So if we will continue the pattern, how many unit squares are we expecting? Is it 45, 50, 53, or 55? Wow. I believe many of you answered D, and according to Sir Chad, it's an arithmetic sum. No? Okay. And let's see if you got it right. If you could actually see, we actually have a pattern here. That is, in one layer, you could see there's one unit square. In 3 layers, we have 1, 2, 3 unit squares. For 3 layers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for 4 layers, we actually have 10 of them. But if you could see, for one layer, it's actually 1 only. For the 2 layers, there's 3, and that is 1 plus the 2 here. For the figure with 3 layers, there's actually 1, 2, 3. For a figure with 4 layers, that's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So kung ating pong makikita, ano kayang numbers ang i-add natin to get the number of unit squares sa 10 layers? It's from? Very good. According to Ma'am Geraldine, from 1 until 10. Exactly. That's why if we add all of these numbers, yung ginagawa kasi ng iba, nag-a-add sila from left to right, like 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 3, 6, 6 plus 4, 10, and so on. But there's actually many ways of doing this problem, no? In my case, I added the first and the last. 1 plus 10, that's 11. If I add the second number, which is 2, and the second number from the last, which is 9, 2 plus 9 is also 11. If I add the third number and the third from the last, 3 plus 8 will give you 11. 4 plus 7 is 11. And 5 plus 6 actually is 11. So kung atin pong makikita, ilang pares ng numbers ang nag-a-add to 11? And according to Sir Chad, there are actually 5 pairs of numbers that add up to 11. The same with Ma'am Nurse and Ma'am Wendy. And therefore, meron po tayong 5 11 and 5 times 11 gives us 55. So if you answered letter D, congratulations, you got it right. Or you could also use the arithmetic sum formula, which is n over 2 times the sum of the first and last term. Or if you are adding the sum, or if you are getting the sum of the first n natural numbers, tama naman po si Sir Chad, no? The formula is n times n plus 1 all over 2. Letter D. That's why marami pong ways, no, para isolve yung problem na to. And the fact that many of us got D, so that's a good start. 62. An angle is 1/2 of its complement What is the angle in degrees? Is it 30, 45, 60, or 70? Okay. So, saan kaya dito? Okay, marami pong sumagot ng A. Meron ding mangilan-ngilan na sumagot ng B, which is 45. Let's see kung saan nga ba yung tama dito. So, suppose we let X to be the angle. And sabi sa problem, no? An angle is half of its complement. So if X is the angle, ang X ay 1/2 ng 2X, di po ba? That's why masasabi po natin na 2X po yung complement ng angle na ito. Because X is 1/2 of 2X. And when we say complementary angles, these pair of angles add up to 90 degrees. That's why X plus 2X equals 90. So the left side simplifies to 3X. So if 3X equals 90, di ba? So dividing both sides by 3, and that gives us X equals 30. Hence, the angle that we're looking for is 30 degrees, letter A. Okay, so yeah, that's why be very careful po. It's okay, no? Kung B po yung sagot natin, wala pong problema diyon. Yung mahalaga po, okay, nalaman po natin yung solution sa problem na to. So letter A po talaga. Kung may tanong po kayo, paki-chat na lang po. Ilagay sa chat para ma-address po natin. Salamat. 63. What is the measure of an exterior angle in degrees of a regular hexagon? Is it 30, 45, 60, or 90? Okay. Oh, wow. So far, merong isa, dalawa, tatlo. Okay. Around 7 or 8 of you or 9. More than 10 na po. Yung sumagot ng letter C, which is 60 degrees. And sabi po ni Ma'am Ayesa Manapol, and the formula daw is 360 divided by N. And I agree with that as well. That is, if we have a regular polygon, ibig sabihin po nun, kapag sinabi po nating regular polygon, all of its sides are equal and all of its interior angles are congruent as well. And to get the measure of one exterior angle, we simply use the formula 360 degrees divided by N, where N is the number of sides of that polygon. So since a hexagon has 6 sides, so 360 degrees divided by 6 gives us 60 degrees. So therefore, the correct answer po is letter C. So sa lahat ng sumagot ng C, tama po kayo. And I do also agree with Sir Chad, no? Nang sinabi niyang, if you add an interior angle plus an exterior angle, dapat 180 degrees po yan. Ang interior angle po ng isang hexagon, ng isang regular hexagon, ay 120 degrees. Kaya yung ginawa ni Sir Chad ay 180 degrees minus 120 degrees, which is 60 degrees. So yun po yung kinagandahan sa math, no? Iba-iba man po yung solution natin. Yung mahalaga po, nakaka-arrive tayo sa same correct answer. Salamat po. 64. Which of the following refers to the sum of all the areas of surfaces of space figures? Is it area, lateral area, surface area, or D, volume? Okay, many are convinced with letter C. Let's see kung tama kayo. Kapag sinabi naman po nating area, this refers to the number of square units sa isang flat surface. However, we are dealing with space or three-dimensional figures. So the best answer here is not area. Kapag sinabi naman po nating lateral area, it refers to the area of the non-base spaces. So, ina-add mo po lahat ng areas ng space figure na yan, maliban po sa areas ng kanyang base or bases. The correct answer here is actually surface area. Yan po yung dinidescribe sa definition. And for letter D, volume, ito naman po, it refers to the amount of space in a three-dimensional objects, usually expressed in cubic units. Salamat po. So, letter C. All right. Moving on. Let's have item number 65. How much powder in centimeters cubed can be put into a spherical container with a diameter of 10 cm? Is it letter A, B, C, or D? Okay. So marami yata sa atin ang convinced sa letter C. Okay. Lahat yata ng nag-comment ay letter C po. All right. Sige, tingnan natin kung letter C. So anong concept po ba yung isosolve natin dito? Are we going to solve for perimeter, area, surface area, lateral area, volume? Okay, sabi po ng mga kasamahan natin, ng mga kaguro, we will be solving for volume, and that is also something I agree with. So if the diameter is 10 centimeters, so it follows po na yung radius ng ating sphere ay 5 cm. And tandaan po natin that the formula for the volume ng isang sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Thank you po, Sir Chad. And since our r is 5, so by substitution, that's 4/3 times pi times the cube of 5. And 5 cubed means 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. And using your calculators, you get a value that is approximately 523 and 6/10. Letter C. So tama nga naman po yung letter C. 66. The radius of a right cylindrical can is 10 cm and its height is 12 cm. Determine the volume. Did you go for letter A, B, C, or D? Paki-comment nga po, ano po ba yung formula para makuha yung volume ng isang cylinder? Anyone po? Okay, so Sir Chad there commented pi r squared h. And I also agree with that, no? So the radius here is 10 cm and the height is 12 cm. And by substitution, V equals pi r squared h. So r will be replaced by 10 and h will be replaced by 12. So that becomes pi times 10 squared times 12. 10 squared means 10 times 10, which is 100. And multiplying pi 112 and expressing this answer in terms of pi, then you will get 1,200 pi centimeters cubed, letter A. So I hope you got it po. Salamat. Okay, resume po tayo sa number 67. To find the perimeter P of a rectangle that has a length of 16 inches and a width of 12 inches, which of the following equations can be used? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Wow. Marami po sa atin ang convinced sa letter A. And if you answered A, di wow, tingnan po natin. Remember, no, that the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle is equal to twice the length added by twice the width. And since in the problem, the length is 16 inches and the width is 12 inches, let's do the substitution po. We will arrive to 2 times 16 plus 2 times 12. So tama nga po yung letter A. All right. Salamat po. 68. Again po ha, kung may tanong, chat na lang po. Salamat. Or feel free to open your microphone if you are recognized. The perimeter of an equilateral triangle and a square are both equal to 120 cm. How many centimeters shorter is a side of the square than a side of the triangle? Is it 3, 5, 7, or 10? Wow, I believe na marami yata makaka-perfect ngayong gabi. Sige. So many of you answered D. And kapag sinabi po nating perimeter, no? Perimeter refers to the sum of all the measures of all the sides of a polygon. So kapag sinabi po nating equilateral triangle, all of its 3 sides are equal. And of course, we know that a square has 4 equal sides. And since the perimeter of the and they have equal perimeters of 120, to get the length of a side of a triangle, syempre, i-divide po natin yung perimeter na 120 by 3 and you will get 40 cm. So a side of a triangle here is 40 centimeters long. Ang tanong po, how long is the side of a square? Sa problem na to or sa question na to. Gaano po kahaba yung side ng square? So gaano po kahaba yung bawat side ng square natin? Okay, sabi ni Ma'am Usman, 30, and also for the rest no, na nag-comment, salamat po. You are actually correct because that's 120 divided by 4, which is 30 cm long. So this tells us na mas mahaba ng 10 centimeters yung side ng triangle kaysa sa side ng square. So all we did is subtract 40 cm by 30 cm and get 10 cm. So letter D is the correct answer here. Okay. So far so good. 69 po. 2 identical trapezoids are put together to form a parallelogram. The bases of each trapezoid are 9 cm and 18 cm. Its height is 8 cm. What is the area of the parallelogram in centimeters squared? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Okay, marami po ang sumagot ng B. If you don't mind po, could someone tell us ano po yung ginawa ninyo? I will allow someone to open, any volunteer po, to open his or her microphone and tell us what he or she did. Oh, yes, Sir Chad. Okay po. Go ahead po.
First, we first assume that the trapezoids are isosceles because it is impossible if to use the formula of the parallelogram base times height if they are not isosceles trapezoids. So when we imagine the 2 trapezoids whose bases are 8 and 9, we could actually configure the second trapezoid to be inverted, and it will be like 18 plus 9, which will give us the base of one of the parallel bases of the trapezoid to be equal to 27, and using the formula for the area of the parallelogram, base times height, it's actually 18 plus 9, which is 27 times 8, which will give us 216 centimeters squared.
Very good po. Thank you po, Sir Chad, for that very wonderful, comprehensive, and clear explanation po. Pasado na yan. Good job po. And actually, no, meron pong marami pong ways paano isolve ito. So, yung ginagawa po ng iba ay, yung kay Sir Chad, naglagay po siya ng dalawa, no? At saka nag-form siya ng parallelogram. Yung sa akin naman po, ginawa ko rin po yan dati. Pero, para mas simplify pa siya siguro, no, para sa iba, depende sa tao. Yung ginawa ko is, kinuha ko muna yung area ng isang trapezoid. And di ba, to get the area of a trapezoid, we added the length. Ito po yung itsura niya, halimbawa po. All we have to do is add the two bases. So 9 plus 18. So the sum of the two bases multiplied by the height of your trapezoid divided by 2. Okay? So if you simplify this, that would be 27 times 4, which is 108 centimeters squared. So the area of this trapezoid is 108 centimeters squared. However, since we have two identical copies, no? So this means that the other trapezoid will also have an area of 108 centimeters squared. That's why multiplying this by 2, so 2 times 108 centimeters squared will give us 216 centimeters squared, which is letter B. So sa lahat ng sumagot ng B, correct po yun. And take note po ha, tama din po yung kay Sir Chad. Actually, originally, I have two solutions here. I just removed the other solution, yung sinabi ni Sir Chad, to make it somehow more concise, no? Yung solution, I opted to provide only one solution instead of two. I hope na you understood po. Thank you. 70. Okay. Paki-comment po, anong sagutin niyo dito? S is a point between R and T if Rs is 4y minus 1. St equals 2y minus 1. And Rt equals 5y. How long is Rt? Okay. Okay, saglit lang po. Okay. Marami pong sumagot ng C sa 10. And I hope you also arrive to a similar figure like this now. So Rs is 4y minus 1, St is 2y minus 1, and Rt is 5y. And by that, what we call, if you could see, if we added the length of 4y minus of Rs, which is 4y minus 1, and with the length of St, which is 2y minus 1, that will be equal to the whole thing, which is 5y, based on what we call the segment addition postulate. So simplifying the left side po, no? 4y plus 2y is 6y. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2 equals 5y. And what I did next was this 5y on the right-hand side will become minus 5y on the left-hand side. And this negative 2 sa left ay magiging positive 2 sa right. Di ba nga yung hugot dyan is sumakabilang bakod ka lang. Nag-iba ka na ng signs. Okay, so that's why you have 6y minus 5y equals 2. And that gives us the value of y, which is 2. But it's not yet our final answer because we are after of the length of RT. Knowing that the length of RT is represented by 5y, and to be faster, no? So I just substituted the y by 2, and that's RT equals 5 times 2 or 10 units. Letter C. I hope you got it po. 71. A square and a rectangle have the same area. If the square has a side of 10 centimeters, the following are possible dimensions of the rectangle except, is it A, 5 by 20, B, 4 by 25, C, 550 by 2, or D, 5 by 15? All right. I believe that many of us are familiar with the area of a rectangle, which is area equals length times width. So all we have to do is multiply them. 5 times 20 will give us 100. 4 times 25 also is 100. 50 times 2 is also 100. However, 5 times 15 is 75 only. Hence, options A, B, and C have an area of areas of 100, and D has an area which is not 100. So 71, letter D. Dog po. Okay, careful. Sige. So I hope na clear po sa atin. Salamat po. 72. What is the slope of a line parallel to y equals negative 1/2 x plus 3? Is it negative 1/2, B, 2, C, 3, or D, negative 1/3? All right. Matanong ko po, what can you say about the slopes of parallel lines? Their slopes are, according to Sir Chad, equal po. So be careful po ha, tandaan po natin that parallel lines have equal slopes. And if you have something like this, tandaan po natin, dapat in terms of y is expressed in terms of x. This is what we call the slope-intercept form. Yung kasama ni x, yung coefficient ni x na negative 1/2, yan po yung slope natin. At saka yung constant dyan ay yung ating y-intercept. So, you see that it has a slope of negative 1/2 and a y-intercept of 3 po. So therefore, knowing that parallel lines have equal slopes, therefore, the slope of the line that's parallel to it should be negative 1/2. Letter A. Okay. Next. 73. What is the slope of the line perpendicular to the line containing the origin and 1, 3? Is it A, negative 1/2, B, 2, C, 3, or D, negative 1/3? Please comment. Okay, we see negative 1/3. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, we have C. We also have D. All right. Sino kaya sa atin ang nagsasabi ng totoo? Char lang. Sino kaya sa atin ang tama? C nga ba? Or D?
Sir Ramon. Sir.
Okay. So, let's see po. So with such, so to compute the slope ng ating line, if you are given 2 points, to compute for the slope, we use the formula m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So sa point na 0, 0 po, pag di ba ito yung origin, so 0 yung x sub 1, y, yung 0 na to is yung y sub 1. 1 here is x sub 2, and the 3 here is y sub 2. So by substitution po, you have m equals 3 minus 0 all over 1 minus 0, which when simplified is 3. However, we have to be reminded that 2 lines are perpendicular. I'm talking about 2 lines that are neither horizontal nor vertical. 2 lines are perpendicular if their slopes are negative reciprocals of each other, or if the product of their slopes is negative 1. So ano po yung negative reciprocal ng 3? Ano po yung negative reciprocal ng 3? Very good. It's negative 1/3. Kapag sinabi po nating negative reciprocal, all you have to do is take the reciprocal and change the sign of the number. So 3 po ito, di ba? 3. So yung reciprocal ng 3 ay 1/3. However, dahil positive si 3, yung negative reciprocal niya dapat negative. So therefore, the slope of the line perpendicular to it is negative 1/3. Take note, kung parallel po yung tanong, 3 yung sagot. Pero dahil perpendicular po, dapat negative reciprocal. So letter D po talaga. So, ilan yung tama? Okay, so far, sa mga nag-comment, meron yatang 4 na tama. Okay. 74. It's okay po. It's a learning experience for everyone. 74. What is the point of intersection of the lines x plus y equals 5 and 2x minus y equals 7? Is it 4, 1, 1, 4, 3, 2, or 2, 3? Okay. So we have a few people, no? We have some people, or to those who commented, their answers is A. So take note, if you have a point of intersection of the two lines, then this point also should satisfy both lines. There are many ways of solving this problem. You could use elimination, substitution, Kramer's rule, whatever. In my case, I use substitution. So the first equation is x plus y equals 5. And expressing this in slope-intercept form, I have y, or I mean, in solving for y in terms of x. So yung x na to naging negative x sa right side. So y equals 5 minus x. And ito po yung second equation natin, no, na 2x minus y equals 7. So yung gagawin ko po is ito po. Yung y na to ay papalitan po natin ng value niya na 5 minus x. That's by using substitution. And you will get 2x minus the quantity 5 minus x equals 7. We have to place a parenthesis to 5 minus x because the whole thing is the value of y po. So of course, dahil meron tayong minus, so all of the terms after the minus sign will change. So that's why 2x, ito po, minus 5. Tapos negative of negative x will become plus x equals 7. What I did next was, I combined 2x and x into 3x. And the negative 5 on the left-hand side became positive 5 on the right-hand side. That's why 7 plus 5 gives us 12. And dividing both sides by 3 to solve for x, we have x equals 4. All right. However, we also have to solve for y. And knowing that y is equal to 5 minus x, base po dito. So substituting x equals 4. So y equals 5 minus 4, or y equals 1. And since we have an ordered pair, tandaan po natin na x po yung nauuna, followed by the y. And you will get 4, 1 as the point of intersection, letter A. Okay, so far, so good. Okay po tayo? May tanong po? None? Okay, salamat po sa pag-respond. 75. The linear distance between negative 4 and 17 on the number line is it 13, 21, negative 17, and negative 13? Wow. Ma'am Luella, thank you po. Salamat po. Okay, so, wow. So, marami po yung sumagot ng B, which is 21. Let's see if you got it right. Take note po, that distance can never be negative. Linear distance can never be negative. So C and D are wrong. We all have to choose between A or B. And ito po yung formula ng linear distance natin. If A and B are points on the real number line, then the distance between them is simply the absolute value of their difference. So suppose A is 17 and B is -4. Using the formula, that's D equals the absolute value of the quantity 17 minus -4. And we will take the absolute value of the whole thing, no? Pero kapag double negative, magiging positive po yan. That's why D is equal to the absolute value of 17 plus 4, which is 21. And of course, the absolute value of a positive number is also positive. Hence, we could say that 17 and -4 are 21 units apart. Letter B. All right. So far, so good. Next number. Find the distance between 4, -3, and -2, 5. Okay. So is it 11, 10, 9, or 8 points? Okay. I think to those who answered B, you are actually correct or wrong. Let's see. Now, I hope that you could recall, no, that if you are given 2 points with coordinates x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, the formula, the distance formula is D equals the square root of the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1, quantity squared, plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1, quantity squared. And since the 2 points are 4, -3, and -2, 5, si 4 po yung ating x sub 1. -3 is our y sub 1. -2 is the x sub 2. And 5 is the y sub 2. And by substitution, that's D equals this one, the square root of the quantity, -2 minus 4 quantity squared, plus 5 minus the -3 quantity squared. So simplifying here, no, the inside here, it's -6 quantity squared, plus 5 minus -3 becomes 5 plus 3, which is 8. If you square this, simplifying further gives us the square root of 36 plus 64, which is the square root of 100. And I believe we all know that the square root of 100 is 10. Hence, if we measure the 2 points in the partition plane, we are sure that they are 10 units apart. Letter B. Tama po yan, Sir Chad. Kapag taken na yung tao, matuto kang dumistansya. Okay, so salamat po. 77. Hugot pa more. If the distance between the points 8, 7 and 3y is 13, then y is equal to, it would be A, 5 or -5, B, 5 or 19, C, 19, or D, -5 or 19. Okay, marami po yata yung sumagot ng A. If you answered A, di wow. Let's see kung tama po kayo. So applying po yung distance formula, no? So yung 8 po yung x sub 1, 7 yung y sub 1, 3 is yung x sub 2, y, ito yung y sub 2, and the D is 13. If you do the substitution, ito po yung magiging katumbas niya. That's 13 equals the square root of the quantity 3 minus 8 squared plus y minus 7 quantity squared. So in my case, no, I simplified the 3 minus 8. It's -5, and -5 squared is 25. And the rest, kinopya ko lang po. Tapos, gusto ko pong ma-remove yung major radical. So anong gagawin po natin both sides para ma-remove po yung major radical? We will square both sides. So squaring both sides po, and with such squaring both sides, square of 13 is 169. Yung right side naman, kapag square mo, ay mawawala yung major radical niya. That's why it became 169 equals 25 plus y minus 7 quantity squared. I added negative 25 both sides. And that gives us 144 equals y minus 7 quantity squared. And dahil po dyan, I employed the square root method next, no? So I took the square root of this. The square root of y minus 7 quantity squared is y minus 7. And the square root of 144 is plus minus 12. Take note po ha, kapag ginagamit po natin ang extracting square root, dapat meron pong plus minus yan dyan. That's why, itong negative 7 na nasa right side, ita-transfer po natin sa left side. So yung negative 7 ay magiging positive 7. That's why it becomes 7 plus minus 12 equals y. So the first root po natin ay 7 plus 12, plus po muna, which is 19. Yung second root po natin, dapat minus naman po yung sa gitna. 7 minus 12, which is negative 5. Hence, letter D is the correct answer. All right, letter D po. 78. G2 po yata napunta. Find the midpoint of the following pair of points. 3, 5, and 7, negative 3. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, marami pong convince sa letter A. Okay, sige po. So I hope that you are familiar with the midpoint formula, no? Given 2 points, x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, the coordinates of the midpoint is simply, the x coordinate is the mean or the arithmetic average ng dalawang x's. So that's why you add them, divide by 2. And the y coordinate naman po is the mean or yung arithmetic average ng dalawang y. So y sub 1 plus y sub 2 all over 2. And with such, by substitution po, no? So you have 3 plus 7 all over 2 and comma 5 plus negative 3 over 2. 3 plus 7 simplifies to 10, whereas 5 plus negative 3 simplifies to 2. 10 over 2 is 5 and 2 over 2 is 1. Hence, the midpoint po has coordinates 5, 1. Letter A. 79. I hope it's clear po. 79. The points A1, B2, and C3 are collinear. Which of the following is true? Saan po sa tatlong ito yung sagot ninyo? Did you go for A, B, C, or D? Wow! For number 79, meron tayong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 B, at saka meron pong isang C na sumagot. May isa pong sumagot ng C. So nahihiya po ata si ma'am. Don't worry po ha. Ano man po yung sagot natin, tama man po o mali, yung mahalaga po sa atin ngayon ay natututo po tayo. So when we say, no, if 3 points are collinear, meaning to say, they lie on one line. And if they lie on one line, then if you pick any 2 points, dapat po ay magkaparehas po yung kanilang slope. And 3 points are collinear if any pair of points has the same slope. So ito po yung slope formula natin, m equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And let's say ito po, no? If we will take the first 2 points, yung A1, B2, yung slope po nito ay 2 minus 1 all over B minus A. If we take the second and the third point, for example, using computing for the slope ng last 2 points na to, that's 3 minus 2 all over C minus B. The numerator, the 2 minus 1 simplifies to 1. The 3 minus 2 also simplifies to 1. That's why you have 1 all over B minus A equals 1 over C minus B. And this time, we will employ what we call the multiplication property of equality, yung tinatawag ng iba, cross multiplication. And 1 times C minus B is C minus B. B minus A times 1 is B minus A. So tama nga po. Kung sagot po natin ay letter B, be happy because you got it right. Congrats po. And lastly, for number 80, find the distance of the line 3x plus 4y equals 5 from the origin. Did you go for 4, 3, 2, or 1? Wow. D yung sagot ng lahat ng nag-comment for this item. So I hope, no? Usually kasi yung tinuteach sa curriculum natin, distance between 2 points. Pero pwede din po pero may distance din po yung isang point na at saka isang line. Provided, no, na yung point na yon ay hindi makikita sa line. Kasi if the point is lying on the line itself, then its distance will be 0. And I hope you are very familiar with this. I hope you are familiar with this. That is D equals the absolute value of the quantity AX plus BY plus C. Dito po yung general form. All over the square root of A squared plus B squared. Ito po yung formula. This will give you a non-negative value considering that you will be taking its absolute value. So if you have, I converted the standard form earlier to general form, and that gives us 3x plus 4y minus 5 equals 0. And from the origin, the point is 0, 0. It means po that si 3, yan po yung A natin. Si 4, siya si B. Negative 5 po yung C natin. Okay? Tapos, yung X will be 0. Yung Y will be 0. So, by substitution, that's the D equals the absolute value of the quantity 3 times 0 plus 4 times 0 all over negative 5. Minus 5. All over the square root of the quantity 3 squared plus 4 squared. The numerator when simplified is negative 5. Your denominator when simplified is square root of 25, which is 5, right? So D is equal to the absolute value of the quantity negative 5 over 5. Negative 5 over 5 is negative 1. And the absolute value of negative 1 is positive 1. This means to say that 3x plus 4y minus 5 equals 0. And the point 3, 0 and the point 0, 0, are 1 unit apart. Letter D. So that ends our session for tonight. I hope you understood something and I hope you learned something as well, very important. And with that, thank you very much and a great day to one and all.